Hey, welcome back to Genesis Custom Sabers, and this is what I've been working on. This is my first and probably only Pike Saber Staff. This was a custom commission that I was commissioned to build for a client. It's powder-coated carbonite. It's got a crystal focus version 5 in it, a white bar graph inside the speaker chamber, 3 Krayt Bone handles, and it's got my Shoto sound font in it, so it sounds like this. And it was pretty interesting, challenging to design, and very challenging to build. It took a little bit more time than I had anticipated, but I'm pretty happy with the result. So when it arrives, it actually breaks down. So when it arrives, it'll look something like this after it's unpacked. How it goes together is pretty simple. These parts actually slide together, just like this. And there's 632 set screws. I'll include an Allen wrench. Of course, with aluminum, you don't want to use the high torque side. You want to use the low torque side, just like this. So slide it in all the way. You can stand it up to put pressure on it in order to do this. Finger tight there. Switch it over. Another set screw. Finger tight there. And you have a fully complete staff Pike Saber. Of course, the blade goes in this end. And now it's assembled. I've got the tail end of the staff taken off right now, just so I can move it in my shop and demonstrate it a little more easily. So this is how the saber functions, the staff, I should say. The battery's actually in here. I'll show you in a little minute how to access the battery should you need to. But basic operation is like this. The blade that comes with this saber is actually going to look different than this. This is just one I'm testing in. Blade goes in there. The blade retention screws are set screws right now, so you need the Allen key, the 632 set screws that are in there. There's 4 of them. Now I'm also going to include thumb screws, just an optical thing. I think the set screws look better. And you've got the kill key here. So this is removes, and you hear a boot up sound. This is my Shoto sound font. That's the recharge port. That's where you plug in the recharger, which will also shut off the saber. Red button is the power on button. You tap that. Blade comes on. Red blade's often look orange on camera. I can assure you that's red. That's the power on off button. You can see through the grills that there's actually a bar graph inside there. It's buried in the wires, but it really has a cool feature because it just glows through some of the speaker grills as the saber's operating. Of course, you can hold down the auxiliary button. It gives you your lockup or blasting. It also gives you a bar graph telling you how much battery is left for the saber. So that's basically how to operate this saber. Similar again to other crystal focus sabers. Of course, your auxiliary button, if you hold that down, also goes into the menu. You can change sound fonts. Revenge is another good one for this saber. So you hold down the button to load it, and now that sound font is loaded and activated. So to work on the saber, to do anything with it, you always want to put the kill key in. Shuts off power to the saber. You can't turn it on. And this is how you're going to get access to the crystal focus SD card inside. There are several set screws. Now this is the only set screw that I allow the user to access. There are other set screws in the bone areas. They're hidden set screws, so these holes here. Don't ever touch those. Those are what hold the bone on. But this one, here's how you get access to it. There's 2 set screws. One in the red band here, and you basically, here's the rule of thumb, just one turn. You're going to notice the key here, one full turn to loosen. This one again here. The Allen key in there, one full turn to loosen. So I've loosened off those 2 screws. They're what hold this part of the saber together, and you'll notice that this gently begins to come out. And there's a clip there that holds the battery. The battery is actually locked into this segment here. So I undo this, and now I have disconnected my battery. You'll notice that there's really only one way to connect this, but I've put red to red and black to black just to make sure that you don't put this backwards, because that would be very, very bad. Now you have this saber disconnected, or this part of the saber disconnected from the battery. So you could remove the kill key, nothing's going to happen. Now these 2 joints disconnect in order to get access to the SD card. They just unscrew, just like that. This is the bone segment. You want to be careful so that the clip doesn't catch, so you always want to do this slowly. And then you undo this segment. Like that. Basically everything below this large red segment you can unscrew. Anything above this red segment, do not unscrew that, that would void your warranty. There's a saber, there's a PVC speaker holder. This gently just rubs out, and then you've got your crystal focus card right there. You press, there's your SD card, you slap that in your computer, you can make changes to the configuration, to the power settings, to the sound fonts. Pop that back in there. I'm going to put this back in. You can see where these wires run. They run through a channel. There's a little bit of play in there. When you pop this back in, here's a good way to note it. You always want to line the recharge port up with this little black band, because when you do that, then this is actually going to line up with the hole. Now if you notice inside this, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there's these little arrows, and the arrows point forward. This is forward. Forward is the way the blade comes out. So you want to keep those arrows in the right direction, otherwise things are not going to fit. You'll know because I lined up the recharge port with the black band. When I screw it in, that lines up perfectly. There's no reason why I can't pop my kill key back in. This goes back on here. Really simple. Because the wires are fragile, when the saber is disconnected or undone, I would recommend not taking it apart often, but just if you need to get access to the SD card. I've done a lot of work to fine-tune it, so you shouldn't need to change anything, but if you wanted to, that's what you could do. And then again, to reconnect these clips, just keep the wires, remember, black to black, red to red. Now it's connected to the battery if you want to test it. You get your boot up sound, you know it's working. The wires actually run and coil inside the staff portion of this. That's why you'll notice that red heat shrink to keep that wire kind of stiff. Now here's what you do, is you put it in there and then you just rock it gently as you're pushing it together, and you'll feel it just kind of the wires slide into their area. When all the gray has slid into the handle, then you know you're in all the way. It doesn't really matter where you tighten it up, you know, just as long as it's in all the way. And then you want to use the Allen key, and again, you don't want to use it this way because you put too much torsion on the screw, and you could actually strip it because aluminum is a soft metal. So you want to use it that way, finger tight, and then this one finger tight, and because there's two screws in there, that's really, really solid. That is not going to come out of there. And that's how to access the inner workings of the saber. Just to note too, I'm also going to stipulate that I'm only warranting this saber for light dueling. Often with a staff saber or a dual saber, because they're so long, you can put a lot of extra tension when dueling on the units, on the joints. So I'm going to only certify this one for light dueling, choreographed dueling, that kind of thing. Thanks for watching.